All right, so here we go with the 1958 DeSoto final ride. We were getting the car running at this point. It wouldn't run on its own, but there was no gas tank in the car. So my dad actually gave me an idea. He get a 1-gallon jug, chlorine jug, something that'll hold gas, put a hose in it, but the car had to be primed, so there had to be gas in the carburetor. So what I did is I got a Gatorade bottle and I drilled a couple holes in the top of it, and as the car is running, I'm squirting gas in there, and then at one point I know that it's primed and it's running on its own essentially. At this point, we're disconnecting the battery cables. I had to jump it out every time. The battery was completely shot. It wouldn't hold a charge, and it was an old battery. And the thing you had to do is you had to put it on start. So the jumper cables were like melting. They were super, super hot. I feel bad at this point in the video because I should have let Jaron drive the car at some point. He was 9 years old when I first got the car. And so anyways, this is me backing up the car. And the funny thing about this is reverse didn't work all that well. The car was great forward. I don't know if it would have shifted through all 3 gears. Push button transmission car, but reverse just didn't work too well on the car. But I think there was a slight slope there. Had the slope gone the other way, the car probably would have gone out where I wanted it to, and then I would have been able to drive it up onto the trailer. But the funny part is right here as I'm goosing the car trying to get it going, and I feel bad because I could have really messed up the transmission. There's a burn spot in the grass that developed over the next few days because there's no exhaust on the car, so the exhaust was literally just going right down off the exhaust manifolds to the ground. And so it was really kind of funny. You can maybe kind of see it in the front of the car. There's a little burn trail. But I eventually had to stop because I'm like, okay, this is not working. It was a gorgeous day that day. And so I shut it off. There's Jaron right there, and then the guy that purchased the car, he's in the middle with the Mopar shirt. Jaron's on the left. Joshua, my bonus son, is in the middle there, sort of. And Frank, I think is his name, and then me. We're pushing this thing out. Now I see why the Titanic hit the iceberg. Yeah, that car was quite heavy, and those guys were really doing the heavy lifting. I was pushing, but not nearly as hard as they were. Yeah, I had to pull all the parts that I had accumulated over the years. And that was my goal, to get it running and driving and stopping it under its own power. And I wish I gave her a bath. She looks kind of nasty there, but my goal was to get the car, to get it running and driving, not restore it because it just needed so much. And it's a 4-door. It's not, worth all that much. It was worth something to me, but I got where I needed to get with the car. I got it to, and if the guy right here, if he had the ramps down, I would have driven the car up on his trailer. Nonetheless, he had an electric hoist, and so he hooked up to the car and got her up on the trailer. But if he had the ramps down, I would have driven the car right up on the ramps, and that would have been a fitting end to me. But that was good. This was good, just doing it like this. I didn't get everything done I wanted to get done on the car, but for the journey that was finishing. So my wife just said, my goal, my goal was to get it running and driving and stopping in its own power, and the brakes worked. So that was a journey all in itself.
Nice.
To try to get the brakes going. Long story. But stainless steel brake lines. I had a brand new master cylinder I'd put on because the old one had leaked out. And really all it needed was to bleed the brakes, and everything was new. I got literally some drums off of a 58 New Yorker that had like 1,000 miles on it, 1,200 miles. The car was abandoned back in the 50s, if you can believe that, in New York City. And I got them off of eBay, off a guy. And funny thing about this car is that the rear axles on this car, the drums were actually attached to the axles, and there was a nut in the center. And when you took the nut off, if that nut came off while you're driving, the entire tire, rim, and axle would come out of the rear end. So needless to say, they changed that in the future years, probably in 61, 62. I don't know if they still had that, but DeSoto ran from 1928 to 1961. So this was one of the last cars.
One of the dreams.
Yeah, it just made that, put that toolbox in there. But that was great.
Oh, maybe change.
That was great seeing it go.